Hello there everyone. Thanks for tuning into the session today. My name's Dr. Daniel Turner and I'm the developer of Quirkos. Today we're going to show you around our web client, which is just over a year old now, and how easy it is to use to make your qualitative analysis visual and engaging, intuitive and hopefully kind of fun to explore. So we've actually got a new website which has just been up the last few weeks or so. So do have a look around. Hopefully it makes things kind of like a bit easier to find. If you're wanting to download the offline version, you can go straight there and get it. But you can also try the cloud version here just by clicking on the links up here. And there's lots of other materials here, including these workshops like we're doing right now, but also lots of other tutorials, guides, lots of different ways to work with and play with different kinds of data sources as well while you're kind of learning how to use Quirkos. So lots of materials are available on the website. And of course from the home page you can just click here on the web app and go straight to use Quirkos in your browser now. So you don't have to install anything on your computer. It works on phones and tablets as well, and just generally means that anywhere where you've got an internet connection you can be working on your data, and anywhere where you log in you can be not only just working on by yourself and have all of your projects synced there, you can also collaborate with other people in real time as well, which is super handy. So I'm just going to make this a bit bigger here so you can kind of see what's going on. Yeah, it's one of the other nice things about the web client is you can just use the zoom function in your browser and everything scales, so you can make it show as much stuff or zoom in as much as you like on any of the aspects of the software or the data. So you do need to register for the trial if you haven't already. If you just click on the sign up button there, it will pop up and you can register. It's free for 14 days. If you cancel any time within that period, you won't be billed at all. And you can also cancel any time just in your account page. So there's no need to contact us if you want to not progress with the trial, or if you just want to wait until your data is ready or something like that. And there are discounts for academics, students, public sector. And you can also choose currency and whether you're going to log in for just 3 months, like a quarter, which is the minimum time, or for a whole year. And when you've done that, you'll be able to log in. So I'm just going to log in with my account here. Sorry, I do have still a little bit of a cold. And once you've logged in, okay, let's zoom out a little bit here. You've got this list here of all the different projects that you've worked on before. If you've not done anything here before, you won't see anything here. And you've also got a tab here for projects which are shared with you. So these are ones that other people have shared with you. So if I go to my projects here, I can import things. So if I've got projects which I've created on offline mode or I've downloaded, you can import them here. You can also click here on new projects to create a new project. So I'll just do that here. We'll call this webinar project. You've got the option here to password protect the project. So that's another password for each project, which is super handy if you're kind of sharing. And that makes sure that the data is end-to-end encrypted and we don't have any way to kind of access your data. It offers another level of prediction. So just click create the new project there. I've just seen a question there for Anita. Hi, greetings. Are the advantages of using the web browser versus the app? Really good question. So you can use both. At the moment, there are some features which are not in the web app, which are only in the desktop app, and that includes some of the export options and support for importing CSV files and things like that, we're aiming to kind of reduce all those limitations. So everything you can do in the desktop app, you can do in the web app. In general, the web app is faster. The web app has the advantage that you can use on any device, and wherever you log in, you'll be able to access your data, and you don't need to install anything. Those are the kind of the main advantages. As I'm going to show you in a minute, some of the things like the searches and the filters are getting a bit more advanced now in the web app than they are in the desktop app. But there's nothing to stop you having both and going backwards and forwards between them. If you want to work offline, so you don't want the data stored in the cloud, only on your own computer, then you do need to use the desktop app. So those are the kind of the main differences. Thanks for your questions. As always, I've always got the chat open, so let me know if you do have any queries or if there's anything in particular you'd like me to show you. So I've created my project here, and I'm going to click here on the menu button here and choose Add Sources and then Import. So I can create a blank source which I can edit and type in. So that might be useful if I want to keep my notes in there. But I'm just going to choose the Import option. And then if I go to, I think it's in Downloads, yeah, Interviews. Okay, so this is from one of the example data sets that we have here, which is basically a series of interviews that we did, real semi-structured transcribed interviews that we did with academics who work in qualitative health. So I can choose just one or all of these. I'm going to select all of these Word files. At the moment, Quirkos only really supports text files, so Word files, PDF files, text files, but you can also copy and paste, and it does support images now as well. So I'll bring in those, those 7 sources. If you want to access this, you can just go to our website here and the workshops page. There are example workshop projects here which you can use for your own kind of learning and training. It also has examples of what projects look like after they've been coded in Quirkos. So for example here, if we go to transcription analysis, here are the transcripts that we're using, so you can download these to use yourself. But there's also in the analysis stage here actual Quirkos project files and Refi QDA exchange format files that you can use with any qualitative software. So if you're looking for an example data set, then we should be able to play and just kind of explore a real project here. So here are the sources of text that I brought in. We'll start looking through these and how we can code them. Anita, okay, so you're asking, I have a subscription but not yet been able to use the feature of synonyms, the word finder. Right, so the synonyms database is one of the things which is only available at the moment in the desktop client. So if you install that, you will be able to log in with your subscription and you'll be able to use the synonyms. But I'll show you what the text search does work in in here as well. So for example, if we put in the phrase teach, then it will show us, so for example in this source here, 44 instances of where the word teach appears. But the web client doesn't currently have synonyms data feature, so that you do need to use the desktop client for. But you can go backwards and forwards between them if you like. So now we've brought in, I'm happy to show some things in the desktop app as well. Okay, so now we've done here is brought in these 7 sources of text, and they're shown by these tabs which are on the side here. And what this means is that I can move between the different tabs. I can close them if I want to. There's also a button here which allows to filter through those. So now I've brought these in, what I can do is define them in different ways using what we call source properties in this little cog button here. So I'm going to click to add a new property, and a property in this case might be something like location, and we'll add a new value which would be Australia. We might add another one which we'll call UK. Then click save. And then so we can choose for this person whether they're based in Australia or the UK. And by defining for our sources these source properties, what we can do later is just see results which are just from particular groups of individuals. So we can create as many of these different properties as we like. and we can use them to filter our results later, and I'll show you how that looks. So now we've put in our sources and done some source properties. Let's do a bit of coding. So this person says, I have a very messy work history is how I usually try to explain it. So my PhD was originally in English literature. I did that a very long time ago. So what I'm going to do here is actually just take this first sentence. I have a very messy work history. Drag and drop that text onto this area on the left here, which is where we create our codes or themes. We'll create a new one called messy work history. So now what we've done is we've created a new bubble here. It's called messy work history, and this piece of text here has been added to that code. If we hover our mouse over the the highlight, it shows us what that code was. And by right-clicking here, we can delete from that code. We can add other text to here, so maybe we want to add this to this code as well. And you'll see that as we add text to the bubble, it grows in size. And so this gives us a sense of what's coming out from the data. I can right-click here to create any number of new codes that we want. So they also mentioned here that they were working in English literature. Yeah, blue is a good colour for that. There's space here to enter a long description. And so this piece of text we can put to more than one code. So let's put that in to both of those. So that's that, and that's there. So that's great. Now what I can do is keep going through and coding. You could also create groups here. So if I create, it would be a good idea if we had one, I think, called discipline. And we'll just create another code here, which we'll call social science. Space here to choose lots of different colours if we're getting bored with the default selection. Different code of green. And what we can do, we can drag and drop bubbles on top of each other to create these groups. So we'll put have discipline as our kind of top level code, and then we've got social science and under here English literature as well. And to code, we just drag and drop first onto the top one so it pops out, and then we can drag that onto social science as well to add to there. So it's really easy to work with the codes and themes. When we double click on one of these codes, it shows us all the subcategories under there exploded out. By default, everything which is there, and then we can just click on one of those to see what's under there. So if I tick here on the click button here, wherever you see quotes in Quirkos, you can tick to select them. So if we go back so we can see some of the other ones as well. And that means that we can copy and paste them into somewhere else. So if I quickly just start up Word. So what I can do here is I can now paste that quote, and it comes from with the attribution. So this was the name of the source that it came from. So this makes it super handy to write up as we go along later. So now I've kind of showed you the basics. What I'm going to do now is open up a project where a bit more coding is done, and I'll show you some of the features where we can use some of the source properties and other features to filter the data, and then I'll show you some of the stuff in the desktop client as well. So I'm just going to click here on Go to Projects. Everything's automatically saved, so you don't need to open this up again. Search here for Research Agenda Project. Good, right, so this is actually the same project, but a lot more coding has been done. Who were we looking at? Were we looking at Danny before? No, Matilda. Yes. PG originally in English. Okay, good. Okay, so we've not coded in the same way here, but there are lots of other things that we've looked at. Career choices, things that are unsurprising, common paradigms and stuff. And you can see now we've really used those kind of groups of codes. When we start to have lots of codes like this, there are other useful features here, so we can arrange them into a kind of a grid order. Again, you can zoom in and out, so you can change the size of all of these options. There are also word clouds which we can look at to look at word frequency analysis within the project. And there's also this kind of list view as well, which allows you to see all the different here that underneath the descriptions, and everything is kind of indented. So this list view is kind of more similar to the view that you would get kind of in all the other kind of qualitative software packages. And if you've got lots and lots of codes, that might be easier to work with as well. I kind of like the canvas view though. The other thing we have here is the overlap views. There are visualizations of the different connections between the codes. So if we look at this researcher challenge one, for example, and choose overlap view, it shows that this overlaps with common paradigm and voice. And we can see which quotes occur at the same time as researcher challenge and voice. And again, we can choose these and copy it at any time. And then click to the home button there. Let's have a look at the filter view here. Now the filter view allows us to choose pretty much anything that we have in the project to show just results from part of the data. So I'll add a new criteria here, which we'll choose for, we looked at location before. Location is Australia. Apply the filter. And now this is showing us all the results from where the location is Australia. And actually there's nothing. Nothing that matches it in this particular case. But what we can do is we can actually split the screen in half, choose another criterion where the location is England. Okay, and there are people from England here. Not quite sure why they're not showing up for the Australia ones here. But what this means is that we can see here all the results from just the people who were from England next to the people from Australia. We can see what the differences are. And again, anywhere where these quotes appear, we can tick and select to copy and paste them. There are also various different ways that we can get the data out of the project. So if we go to the report generation here, this is something we're working on improving right now, so this is going to look very different in the next kind of couple of months. So we can see a preview on the left of what the report would look like, and then different options for what different sections we want in there. So there are visualizations of the source properties, so how many people belong to a particular location or a particular gender, then visualizations of the canvas, and then all the different quotes, which you can choose how they're organized, whether you want things in there like, for example, source properties. So for each quote you want to see what location they came from. So this is someone from England, for example, in this case, what their main discipline was. So that makes it a lot easier to kind of customize the report in exactly how you want it. When you have it how you like, you can print, and you can also print to PDF as well. So if you want a PDF file of this, and you can also save it as a Word file or as a HTML file, just like this, which is interactive and someone else can play with. There are also options here to export as a Word document, and in this case you get the text back as a standard Word document, which kind of uses the memos here to show your coding. So this is great to share with someone that doesn't have access to Quirkos, or to use for an appendix or something like that. And it shows us how we did all the coding in the project, who did it and when. So this is a standard Word file. It makes it really easy to also to print out and take away from the computer and read. So now what I'm going to do is show some of the differences in the desktop app. So just open that up here. Just give me 1 second. So actually I don't have it installed on this computer, so I'm just going to go to download it from here. Good. Okay. That was quick, so I've installed Quirkos. I'll just log in here. You'll be able to see there's the webinar project that we'll be working on just now. And so there are codes, messy work history. It was Matilda, I keep forgetting. That was the course we're working on. So there's the coding that we've done there. So it's very similar in the desktop app. What I wanted to see though was the synonym search. So that's with this little option here. So you click on the search panel here, and then you put in a term here like, I'm not sure if it will have something for cert teach. Okay, so it doesn't have synonyms for that. But when it does have a synonym for a particular word, you can tick here to show the different synonym and choose the one you want. And then you'll see all the different results here. And there's lots of different ways that you can work with the search results here. So you can have whole words. So if you would want to see, for example, here we've got teach and we've got teaching. So if we choose include whole words only and run that search again, there we go. We only get teach rather than the other options like teaching. But we also might want to include teach to teaching, so you can include those too. You can also restrict the results to just the coded text, or for example, particular locations. So maybe we want to see here are all the people from Australia. Okay, so it's just Matilda's source in this case, and the words that appear there for teach. And you can kind of keep adding the criteria here to get more and more specific results. And another thing which is kind of useful here, and this is in the web client as well, is you can create word clouds, and that will show you some of the different word frequency analysis. So let's show you that in the web client. And so with the word clouds, like the larger ones are the ones which appear most. So we've got kind, research, no, and clicking on any of these, if we click on research, for example, we'll run a text search on that filter, so it will show us the results there. So that's more or less the basics, what I was going to show today. Do let me know in the chat, the comments, if there's anything else you'd like me to demonstrate today. Okay, no more questions. So, as ever, if you do have any queries, you can always get in touch with us on the website. Oh, sorry, we just had a question come in. Okay, so Nita asks, is it recommended to use the content from research articles with the results from my qualitative interviews to justify codes and themes? Yes, so I think that's a great idea. In fact, we've got one project here where we've done that. So this is one of the example projects here. This is an example of how it can be useful to bring in your data and your articles in the same project. So here I've actually got, this is an article, so this is smartphone article PDF. There's a link to this, it's an open access article. So this is an article which is talking about smartphone use, smartphone addiction within family settings, and how it kind of interacts with things like parenting. What I've been able to do here is code sections of the article, which I can then quote, obviously with the attribution of the article, to the same codes that I've used for analyzing the data. So this is what our participants are saying about parenting, together with what the article is showing here. So here are comments from Lynn, one of our participants, about parenting, and I can compare that with what the smartphone article, the published article, is saying as well. So again, when I come to write up, that's super useful to be able to quickly compare and contrast across those across the literature. So you can compare within the literature and between the literature, obviously, but you can also compare very quickly with the different aspects which are coming up from your own data. And because in this case, I'm pretty sure in this project, I have set the data type. So some of these are interviews and some of them are journal articles. It doesn't matter that I have these different mix of data sources in here, because with the filter view, I can ask just to see results from, what did I call this? Data type, yeah, that's right. So data type, journal article. So this is showing me now the results. So these are the things about parenting that just come from the journal article. And again, if I split this in half and look for the criteria here from data type, interview, those are the things coming about parenting from the interview. So it's just so easy because they're in the same project to look at them together if I want to, or to separate them. Now you can merge projects in Quirkos, so it's always possible to, obviously do a literature review first, and qualitative software is great for doing literature reviews because you can look within the sources. And then you can merge that with your data later on and then see if you're using the same kind of codes and themes to explore the data. But I find it's always helpful to kind of start out in the same project and then just use the filters here to just see the particular bits that I like. So again, I can copy and paste here, and then I've got all. Okay, I didn't attribute this, but if I'd given this a proper name, like Smith et al. 2005, then whenever I was quoting that would come through in the proper way as well. So I hope that makes sense. So that's, again, unless there are any other questions, that was all I was going to cover today. So do go onto our website. If you have any other questions, give it a trial. Try the desktop version or the web client, however you find easiest to use. There's lots of other articles here on our blog as well about general qualitative aspects. So for example, here's one about trying to get people to talk in a natural, informal way in research interviews. There's one here about some of our example data sets and collaborating for working together. And he's just asked if I can show the filtering again. Sure, no problem. So here's the filter view here. So I'll just click here on the filter view. And I've got these two queries here. So one on the left and one on the right. On the add filter button here, I can do a text search here is one of the first options. But below here, these are all the different things that I can filter for across the project. So this includes the highlight author. So if I've got multiple people working on the project, I can see the different work done by different people. I also look for coding that was done on a particular date or just from one particular source. So for example, this could be quite useful if I just want to see things just from the smartphone article. So that's just now showing me the results from the smartphone article. These filters here, so the things which are below here in the italics here, this shows me the source properties. So age, family role, data type, author, and year. So for example, because I've got literature in here, I can choose the year 2019, or I can see results for articles which are just put on a particular year. And with the filters, we can also add more than one criteria. So maybe I want to have something that was written between on a particular year or between a particular age range and was by a particular author. And I could use that to kind of do a sub-filter within that as well. And now that I've got all the results here within this filter, it's basically showing me in descending order how things were coded. There's not a lot of coding in this project. And so parenting was the thing for this query, so where the article year was 2019 and the author was Johnson et al. Parenting was the most coded thing. There were two of those. And this shows me all the other codes. There was nothing here. But if I'm looking at the interviews here, I can see that negative was the thing which occurred most. And clicking on each of the codes here shows me the text that was under that code for that particular subgroup. So these are all of the things from interviews about parenting and conflict and life with cell phones and negative. If I want to select just some of these codes, I can just click on these here, then choose the copy button. If I want to choose all of the quotes here, I can just click on the top, tick here, and this will select all the quotes, and then I can copy them just like that. So then I can paste that in my Word document or wherever I'm writing up my findings. So I hope that helps. As I said, if you've got any other questions, you can always get in touch with us. So I'm showing you the blog, but you can also contact us here, and you can email the support group anytime. So we work 7 days a week, so you can always get in touch with us via email. We'd always be happy to demonstrate things and answer any questions that you happen to have. So thanks so much for coming along today. We'll do another one of these in another couple of months, but do get in touch if you've got any questions. Thanks for coming along. Have a great day.